Beneath the surface of these muddy and brackish waters lives a species of one of the most recognizable creatures within Earth's aquatic ecosystems. Easily distinguished by their unique appearance and robust structure, they appear almost alien-like, equipped with appendages and armor, a marvel of aquatic evolution. They swim, burrow, and can even leave you with a painful mark or fewer fingers if you aren't careful. Today, we are here in the freshwater ponds of Libuganon. Amongst these mangroves with plenty of mud and murky water to see, we intend to get a glimpse of our animal. Accompanied by an experienced local, we will be checking fixed traps in hopes of catching and getting a closer look at these freshwater creatures. This is the Philippine mud crab. This morning, we were able to catch 2 live specimens, one of each gender, a male and a female. This strike of luck will allow us to look at the sexual dimorphism within the species, which will be explained later. Morphological structure. Crabs are one of the most interesting animals of aquatic evolution. As crustaceans, they have this hard exoskeleton. Now for crabs, they have this flat and broad shell covering their main body called a carapace. On the frontal side of the carapace are anterior lateral spines and small frontal lobe spines between the eyes. For sight, crabs use a pair of stalk compound eyes which allows for a wide field of vision. Beneath is the mouth of the crab, which are composed of 3 pairs of maxillipeds layered on top of each other. Behind all of it are the mandibles, which is responsible for further breaking down food pieces for swallowing. Inhabiting the murky waters of mangrove areas provides severely poor visibility underwater. Thus, crabs evolved long antennae and shorter antennules, which are covered in special chemosensory hairs to detect chemicals or cues. This helps determine changes in the environment, such as change in current caused by movement. Similar sensory hairs could also be found on the legs. Attached to each side are the chellae, also known as the claw. An entire arm is a cheliped and is composed of multiple segments. On the most distal segment are the chela or the claw. Each claw has a movable tip called the dactylus, an immovable tip called a pollex, and a large part called the propodus. A claw can have molar-like teeth for crushing, referred to as the crusher claw, and the other with sharper teeth for cutting flesh is called the cutter claw. The claw is attached to the carpus, the wrist of the animal. This connects to the merus, which is the large part of the arm nearest to the carapace. The presence of spines on the chelipeds are used to identify the different existing species of mud crabs. Since crabs are semi-aquatic, they have specialized legs. There are 3 pairs of walking legs for accessing land and another pair of flattened and paddle-shaped legs on the posterior end for swimming underwater. Each leg has 4 segments, namely the dactyl being the furthest, propodus, carpus, and merus. Dactyls on each leg also have chemoreceptors that are used to detect cues and changes around them. A ventral view of the crab's underside allows us to observe the sternum and the abdomen. The body is segmented, and an abdominal flap is flexed underneath the body. The flap is the tail from the plankton stage of the crab's life cycle, reduced and folded under the body. Viewing the underside of the crab also allows us to determine its biological sex. Males have triangular-shaped abdomen. Female crabs, on the other hand, have a broader triangular flap when immature, which turns into an inverted U-shaped and arched abdominal flap surrounded with setae when fully matured. Exposing the inside of the abdominal flap is the transparent intestine that lies along the ventral midline and ends at the anus, which excretes the feces for waste disposal. Behind the abdominal flap in males are 2 pairs of pleopods or swimmerets, which they use to transfer the sperm into the female during copulation. Female crabs have paired biramous or branched pleopods on their abdominal segments, which consist of setae where the females will carry, aerate, and protect the eggs until they hatch. Internal structure. Crabs have a complex internal structure with different organs and systems that function in coordination. The simple heart is located at the center of the body with 4 openings called ostia. Since crabs have an open circulatory system, hemolymph is instead circulated throughout the body. It is associated with 5 pairs of branchiae or gill books, which are specialized gills consisting of thin, flattened, leaf-like structures stacked together in a series. These gills are adapted for both aquatic respiration and limited air exposure, responsible for efficient gas exchange between oxygen and water, which again assists oxygenation of hemolymph. It also has a digestive system which begins with specialized mouth parts such as the mandibles for crushing and grinding the food, which are then directed into the esophagus by the maxillae and the labium. The esophagus transports food from the mouth to the stomach. The stomach, which is located near the middle anterior side of the body, has 2 chambers: a cardiac stomach, with a gastric mill for mechanically processing food, and a pyloric stomach to filter the digestive food before passing it to the intestines. The hepatopancreas, or the midgut, is a multifunctional organ located at the anterior lateral sides of the body cavity. This acts as both a liver and a digestive gland. And lastly, the food travels to the intestines or hindgut, located at the posterior end, where it will be absorbed with its nutrients and then eliminated from the body through the anus. Anterior to the digestive glands are the gonads of the crab, which can contain the testes if male and ovaries if female. Females also have spermatozoa located beneath the stomach and heart, which they use to receive and store sperm for later use. Crabs also have a simple nervous system with a relatively small and centralized brain for coordinating sensory inputs and motor functions. The brain then sends signals to the ventral nerve cord, which runs along the crab's underside, with ganglia responsible for control of local movements and reflexes. This decentralized system facilitates efficient control of the crab's multiple appendages for immediate response to stimuli. Taxonomy. As for identification, these crabs are members of the species Scylla olivacea. Distinguishing features of this species that separate them from other members within the genus Scylla include orange or brown to black coloration on the claws, rounded frontal lobe spines, reduced propodous spines on the claws, and the absence of patterning on all its claws and legs. The full binomial name is Scylla olivacea, Herbst 1796. It is classified under Kingdom Animalia, part of phylum Arthropoda, class Malacostraca, and order Decapoda. It belongs to the suborder Pleocyemata, infraorder Brachyura, family Portunidae, genus Scylla, and species Scylla olivacea or S. olivacea.
Mud crabs are found in tropical and subtropical coastal regions, particularly in estuaries, which are coastal areas where fresh water from river mixes with salt water from the ocean, tidal flats, and mangroves like this. They prefer areas with brackish water, which is a mix of fresh and salt water. This habitat provides mud crab with ideal condition. They can dig into the mud to hide from predators and easily find food. Mangrove roots and muddy floors also offer great shelter and protection. These environments support their growth and make it possible for them to thrive and adapt well. The diet of mud crabs includes a mix of small fish, mollusks, crustaceans, worms, algae, and detritus, which is decaying organic material. As opportunistic omnivores, they scavenge on the seafloor, feeding on whatever is available in their habitat. From live prey to plant matter, this diverse diet helps them survive in various environments. Mud crabs have separate male and female sexes, which can be identified by the round shape of their abdominal flap. In males, the flap is triangular, while in mature females, it's rounded. Additionally, males tend to have larger claws or chelipeds than females. Internally, males have a pair of testes, vas deferens, and ejaculatory ducts. Externally, they have pleopods, which help transfer sperm. Males reach sexual maturity when their carapace width is over 90 mm. Their maturity is classified into 3 stages: immature, where the vas deferens is cream-colored and transparent; maturing, where it turns creamy white; and fully mature, where the vas deferens becomes milky white and fills the body cavity. Females have a reproductive system that includes a pair of ovaries, seminal receptacles, oviducts, and pleopods. Female crabs also progress through 3 maturity stages. Immature females have yellowish ovaries with transparent seminal receptacles. As they mature, the ovaries become pink, and in the mature stage, the ovaries are orange with fully developed seminal receptacles. When it comes to reproduction, mud crabs mate after the female have molted, as her shell is soft, making mating easier. During mating, the male holds the female beneath him and transfers sperm into her seminal receptacles. This sperm can be stored and used to fertilize multiple batches of eggs over time. Once fertilized, the female carries the eggs under the abdominal flap until they hatch into larvae, which are then released into the water. While mud crabs are not universally classified as endangered, certain species may be at risk due to a combination of environmental and human-induced factors. Overfishing is a significant threat, especially in areas where they are heavily harvested for commercial and local consumption. Coastal development and habitat destruction, particularly in mangrove areas, also reduce the natural environments where mud crabs can thrive. Additionally, pollution from agricultural runoff, plastics, and other contaminants can negatively impact their habitats and health. Climate change poses another challenge, with rising sea levels and changing temperature potentially altering the delicate balance of estuarine ecosystem.
Significance. Mud crab holds significant ecological, economic, and cultural importance. Ecologically, they play a vital role in the food chain, acting as both predators and prey, helping to maintain the balance of coastal ecosystems. Economically, mud crabs are highly valuable in seafood industry, especially in regions where they are farmed and harvested for both local consumption and export. Their farming supports the livelihood of many coastal communities. Culturally, mud crabs are an important part of culinary traditions in many coastal areas, with their meat considered a delicacy. Additionally, they contribute to coastal biodiversity, making them key to maintain healthy mangrove and estuarine environments.